Here's the story of a bearish trader who was selling into every single bounce. All his orders hit the bid, such a sucker. Sometimes you buy the dip. It's the story of a bullish trader who was buying each down tick he saw. He averaged down and rarely stopped out on the edge of blowing up. Until one day they subscribed to Routine Trader and realized they can do both buy and sell. That there are two sides to Mr. Market, and beating him both ways is pretty swell. Yeah, pretty swell, so very swell. Beating Mr. Market both ways is pretty swell.
Cheers to a new trading day at the beginning of a beautiful new trading week. Retail trading team, I'm Mastro, and this is your routine briefing. Start off the day here. We have a pretty interesting open. So we opened at the edge of that expected move. Really starting off this historically bullish week, at least historically bullish since 2003, with that aggressive buying activity. And as we're speaking, we're actually getting a nice little sell here. So I am potentially going to be taking entry if we can get a little push down to that 30 area. I do like an entry at about 30, so be watching that out of the corner of my eye. But really, after we had the nice little Globex trend, as Globex likes to do, we did open right near the edge of that expected move, and it's been a chop fest since, which really does make a lot of sense. We're going to talk a little bit about what I see as the dominant pattern. If you saw the newsletter this weekend, it's really just a reiteration of that. And if you haven't seen the newsletter, or if you aren't familiar with any of the newsletters, I highly recommend you go to retailtrading.com, where you can be a subscriber and get those for free in your inbox pretty much daily. So that's really what we got going on with the warm up. Again, you got that open auction, that choppy activity. You're seeing that low relative volume. So we're just kind of doing what we do after Globex has that nice clean move. We're trying to figure out where, I should say Mr. Market is trying to figure out where he thinks he has found balance. And the way that I see this week playing out is, well, I don't know what direction. I would obviously have to defer to the probabilities, which again, it is a bit of a fallacy to think that how did I phrase that? Past performance is not indicative of future results, obviously. So just because it's been a bullish week seasonally since 2003 doesn't mean it has to be a bullish week yet. I do expect that to play out, especially given what's happened in the /VX volatility. Again, we'll talk about that a little later in the briefing here. But really, I think the most important takeaway from what you're seeing on your screen, this potential head and shoulders that's forming, is going to be the zone. Stand by here. I want to get a order on the books. 44.30 if they will fill it. So let me just put that on the books here. In any case, big 100-point range. The way that head and shoulders work is actually about a 50% probability pattern, which is really funny if you think about it, because I'd say this is one of the more popular patterns that you'll see from various technical analysts, but this does have about a 50% chance of working, well, one way or another, because that's what 50% means. 50% one way, 50% the other. So we really have this large 100-point consolidation zone, and I think that we're going to have to chop around here a little bit before making up our minds. Really the most important single vantage point I think on here is going to be this reversal 3 candle that you see from a couple Fridays ago, and that is really the dominant pivot, I think, for how this chart plays out. You make a new low there. I think we are going to see that extended selling, perhaps down to that 4,300, 4,280 immediately, and that will be the kind of first destination. But like I said, we have to, I think, chop around here and figure out what we want to do. So once again, just want to point out, 83% of the time this week is bullish. I'm watching my screen pretty closely here, about to get a fill at this 43.30. I am going to buy it outright and I am filled, so stand by. Let me get my stops where I want them to be here. Definitely want to give it some space. A little bounce. That's nice. So I got filled right at 44.30. Just a standard one of my little R3 trades there. See, okay, all accounts are filled. Stand by. So I just got to figure out where I want to have this stop. Definitely, like I said, want to give it plenty of room. Let's see here. Give it 21.50, and then we can always re-enter if we get kicked out. Okay. Back to regularly scheduled program. So you're seeing that pullback here. Again, I just kind of see this as a test of this nice little supply, or rather demand area, right around this 20 to 30. That's one of the bolded levels in that warm-up document. And why am I seeing the bulls? Why am I doing what I call a direct bid, where I'm not even waiting for a candle confirmation? Well, we're kind of starting to see value start to move up a little bit. So we're seeing the bulls kind of start to take advantage of the balance act, we'll say. They had that nice little close on Friday, well above that 44.05, which was really the pivot last week. And you're seeing that continued strength if you look at just these profiles, which I've drawn from the high on Thursday, the low on Friday, and just and just since the open on Sunday night. You can see, so the farther back you go, that's the farther back the time frame is. You can see we're starting to bounce, we're starting to move above, and as long as we can hold above 44.30 for sure, and as well above, I would say above 44.20, the bulls are kind of starting to show that build higher. So that's what I'm seeing, at least. And we will have to kind of see how it resolves. It's still a little messy, definitely messy, going into as the afternoon session begins here. Yet again, 20 to 30 is kind of that first support zone that I see. And we start to get below 44.20, start to accept below 44.20. Maybe we'll have to re-examine. Yet until that happens, again, I do think bulls have the edge. And really the final, as I said, feather in the bull cap and nail in the bear's coffin. Well, at least say a thorn in the bear's side. So to throw a third idiom in there, is what's going on in volatility here. You're seeing, let me just make sure we're still below that triangle. Yep, you see we're starting to reject the underside of that triangle. This triangle has been building out. Let me tell you just how long it's been building out. It has really been building out since the middle of July. So really important to watch what happens here. We are, as we speak, testing the underside of that. Once again, you start to see rejection, volatility. You start to see the continued recovery in ES, which we're seeing right now. And again, it's just kind of adding confluence to the idea of a seasonally bullish week that is likely to end green again if you're into that seasonal stuff there. So that's what I got going on for you. So we'll see what happens the rest of the day. Again, low relative volume. Mondays are often a bit fickle, so we'll have to see how the rest of the week resolves. But I'm excited to trade it. I got my final futures account funded on Friday. That was pretty big for me. So I am involved in those, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm going on Twitch. I don't know if I said it in this briefing, but I said it on the Twitter, so I'm telling you in this briefing now. I'm going to go hop on Twitch. Let's see if we can't have a nice profitable day, or at least enjoy the music while we watch and wait. So if you enjoyed today's content and you like what you're seeing, Or if you're just feeling kind and want to do a good turn, I'd appreciate a like, thumbs up on this video. That's going to help with the YouTube algorithm and make me feel super warm and fuzzy inside. Also, please feel free to engage, be it in the comment section of this video itself. On Twitter, we can find me at Routine Trader, or just respond to that newsletter yourself, which is once again right there on your screen at retailtrading.com if you're not already a subscriber. So regardless, I thank you for your attention and hope you stay classy until tomorrow.